From the breeding grounds through the migration routes to the southern wintering areas, Ducks Unlimited has been conserving waterfowl habitat for 86 years. DU volunteers and supporters have helped conserve over 15 million acres, but the work isn't done yet. To play your part in the next 15 million acres, visit www.ducks.org and join our volunteer team or find an event near you. Ducks Unlimited, the world leader in wetlands and waterfowl conservation.
Bottomland is Mossy Oak's original camo pattern created by Toxie Hayes over 3 decades ago. This pattern preserves the original design while applying advanced technology for increased effectiveness. The same field-proven components and colors, the same dirt and bark elements, the same ability to blend into dark environments and obscure a hunter's outline from every angle. Mossy Oak Bottomland.
Get 'em.
Welcome, folks. Y'all come on in and make yourself at home. This here, well, this is the Rolling Thunder Podcast, your home for all things Rolling Thunder. This episode is brought to you by Mossy Oak, because everything is better in Bottomland. Kent Cartridge, quality matters, performance counts. Shen Gear, waterfowl gear that is built better. Benelli USA, dominate the skies. And Ducks Unlimited, the world's leader in wetlands and waterfowl conservation.
Well, welcome to another episode of the Rolling Thunder Podcast.
Welcome, welcome.
We're back. We have sidelined Squints, McGee, McFrawley, and you've got a bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, exhausted crew of duck call nerds in the podcast room.
Yep. It was a heck of a 4 days.
Everybody that's tired raised their hand. There's 2 hands, 8 hands being raised in this room. Sheesh, Louise, we started Wednesday morning. What time did y'all start Wednesday morning?
I woke up at 4:30
Yep.
to get ready to go
Showers
to
at
Foxhole.
4:30.
Yeah.
And y'all knocked out a round of 18 at the Mossy Oak course.
Practice round.
We'll practice around, visit the store.
Didn't
pick up a
help
few
much,
things.
but we played golf.
Yeah,
Now so then the next day was the Foxhole.
correct.
But it was accompanied by a dinner on Wednesday night. So Wednesday
Presented by.
Yeah, that's right. Presented by Rolling Thunder. Yep. That's right. I brought that banner back, by the way. We're going to put that in there in the laser engraving room on that big white wall that needs some decoration.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
so we stayed at the golf course Wednesday night till, I don't know, 9, 10 o'clock. The Shin Gear boys had a putting gambling contest there in the darkness. And
Jeez, those guys. I was playing for a little bit, and they start pulling out wallets, and I said, "Yep, see y'all.
Time to go.
See y'all in the morning, boys."
Yep.
Those guys love to bet.
no doubt about it. But then we started Thursday morning with breakfast at Old Waverly, and then what a beautiful day it was for golf. It was gorgeous.
I know. I stepped out. Tripp got a picture of me. I stepped out the morning of the tournament and just stared at the course for probably 10 minutes. You know,
You went out the back door. I went out the front door with my shirt off, scratching my belly like, "Oh, this feels good."
I had no shirt, hands on the hips, just checking.
There wasn't
it out.
a blade of grass out of place. It was
Cousin
just
Eddie.
all immaculate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Old Waverly was gorgeous. I mean, the Mossy Oak course is really pretty, but I don't know all the golf terminology, but it's a different style course.
It's like Mossy Oak's
so
a
they
link
call
style.
it link style.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, real open,
Yep.
chest high grass everywhere. Not a good place. The last time I played Mossy Oak course, I brought like 12 golf balls, and I was out of golf balls like on the 4th hole, and I was like, "Yeah, this course is not for me."
When you play like myself, and it sounds like you're in that group too, you learn real quick how to find balls. I found the best spots on the course to find balls.
We lost Tripp for 10 minutes, and he come out like 30 yards where he entered the woods. He was down 30 yards from where he started.
Well, Tripp, I don't mean this as arrogantly as it's going to come across, but when you get to be my age, you quit looking for golf balls. you just cut your losses at some point and buy some more. Or better yet, you just quit playing golf. That's just what I've done. Man, the live fire dinner Thursday night at the Mossy Oak.
That was good.
At the Foxhole was amazing. We had all kinds of weird things, everything from bison to smoked deer leg to
hog.
Yeah, quail, hog. Apparently the hog was killed the day of the event by Michael Hunter. I mean, that was wild.
Yeah.
What else was there? There was tacos, brisket tacos.
Yeah, they were really good.
Really good.
Duck enchiladas were
of banging tacos.
Yeah, they were some unbelievable food, really. And then we got up crack of dawn, drove straight here, and we're met by tents in the parking lot and
helping hands.
Mercy, yes, helping hands. But I mean,
Lord.
Sprinter van.
Yeah, so we had a big weekend of our own with the Levey Cut launch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a pretty cool deal to see.
Any overarching summary thoughts from you guys before we break down the details?
Pretty fun weekend all around. I mean, I say more than a weekend, half a week and weekend, you know, I mean.
And I told Spence this morning, you know, just in a year, it was crazy to see the amount of people that was there a year ago, September 17th, whenever we opened the doors to the shop for the first time, and then this year, which we had a calling competition, and which last year we had a new duck call. This year we offer the new duck call, but we had 72 people in line.
It just feels like our friend group just kind of keeps growing, and extremely, extremely blessed for
Ain't no doubt.
No doubt about it.
Happened.
It was very overwhelming. In a lot of ways. Fortunately, it was such a fast pace, and we were so exhausted that there was never really a chance to kind of sit down and soak it up.
Yeah.
But Lauren got me pretty good Saturday morning. She came up to me at the bar and she said, "Can I talk to you for just a second?" I said, "Sure." We walked around the corner and she said, "Can I just give you a hug?" And she gave me a hug. She just started crying. She just just gushed. She said,
"That's good stuff."
I don't even know what to say, but I was like, "You don't have to say anything. It's okay. I love you too, Lauren. Let's go have fun."
Heck.
But it was, from my perspective, it was super cool to see not only all the people that, you know, are drawn to our brand and drawn to this particular call, but also just, you know, your family was here, my family was here, your family was here, Riley. And, you know, there just were so many different people that were here and plugged in. And I think my favorite thing about where we are right now as a brand is all those people feel like they have significant ownership in what we're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
They feel like they're a part of it. Your dad was sitting there during the contest, and he'd shake his head this way, and then he'd shake his head this way. And I mean, he was in it with every lick. And
I never watched a competition before.
And your mom was the same way. I mean, she just stood in there and played the best Rosie Ronquest I've ever seen.
Dalton did a heck of a job too, keeping everybody in line in the bullpen.
Yeah,
that's a rowdy bouncer. I mean, that's a rowdy bunch of guys to be.
It is a rowdy bunch. Yeah. None of them were going to call Dalton's bluff.
No. He come in and hard at him for the 2-man, and like people kind of snapped around, didn't know who it was, and they seen him. I was like, "Yeah, y'all say something back to him. Look at the size of his neck. Y'all holler at him."
Yeah. And someone gave me like heart palpitations at NWTF. He squeezed me so hard, you know. I got $4,000 or $5,000 worth of emergency room bills from Dalton's hugs. I can't imagine what would happen if he hit you like a
ain't no joke.
Meat cleaver.
Yeah.
Jesus. But it was crazy. So when we got back Friday morning, I left before y'all did. There were 2 people that got in line on Thursday, and so when I pulled up on Friday morning, they were sitting on the front porch, both just rocking in the rocking chair, you know. And throughout the day, it was just a few more, and then by Friday night, man, it was quite a show of folks. To be honest, I don't know who was in line and who was begging the band to keep playing.
Yeah. I remember you saying at the end of Friday night, we're all going to move chairs. We didn't have to do it the next morning. I kept looking at my watch, and it kept getting closer to midnight. I'm like, I think them chairs are going to wait. There
was a group of white women sitting right on the front row, dead center.
Yep.
And they kept paying the band to keep playing. And every time I went out there, I would hear them say things like that. We've got more cash. How much does one more hour cost? And they'd go, we'll play one more song. And they'd play, and they were great. But I mean, they played Richmond, north of Richmond. And I mean, people lost it. And it was a great time for sure. I think I crawled in bed at 1:15 Saturday morning, and I was feeling it when the alarm went off at 6 to get back up here.
That was, Dave, 3 or 4 of kind of that same routine too. Late nights and early mornings.
Yes, no doubt.
And long days.
Long days.
And then Saturday morning when we kind of finally got everybody organized. We can't miss that Dawson and Austin rented that Sprinter van.
Yeah, we showed up to Sprinter van.
That was pretty cool, actually.
Clutch, too, because they cooked breakfast there with the Blackstone sausage, cheese, egg, burritos, whatever. They were delicious.
Yeah,
they were great.
Yeah. But we got the line established, and it was pretty funny because right behind them, Reese Groves, he didn't bring a tent, he brought his truck and he just parked it right behind him. And so we had this random.
That's whose truck that was?
I had to get him to move, so I could park back there. But when I pulled in, at like 7:15, 7:30, there was a banana shaped line of it would be like a vehicle or two, and then a chair, and then a tent, and then a chair, and it was just a random collection of devices from the door.
That's hilarious.
But by the time y'all finally, I guess you guys, Tripp and Riley, y'all got with Frawley and made the line, and where did you stop on the 73 or something like
71,
that?
72, somewhere in there. And then once I come back inside, there was 5 or 6 more people that I added to it. So I think there ended up being around 75 people in line once we started.
At the point when we started
opening the door.
Right. And the line grew a good bit after that because there were quite a few that sat on the porch and were like, I'm not standing in that line.
Yeah, I'll just wait. Yep.
And they did. And but super cool. And I guess overall, what was y'all's reaction of people blowing the calls? And
sounded great. There was people that come in that I knew that know how to run a duck call, and I'd handle mine, like, well, what do you think? And they'd run it, and they sounded phenomenal on it. And they loved it. Their eyes would get as big as pool balls, and they'd talk about how much they liked, how it felt and stuff. So
I passed mine around, the prototype, I guess you'd say, around the night before all the festivities. And I saw all things cut down. Guys were all huddled up. I saw them once I got here. I was like, I'm finna go get this duck call, see what they think about it. They all blew it and loved it. And I've been getting great feedback from everybody. It seems like it's pretty cool to see.
No doubt.
It is funny when that select group gets together and you kind of do anything to make them, put a smile on their face. And they're very observant because they walked back here to our museum and
they found some things
they found a few things and had a few questions and about things to come or things from the past.
Russ and I pulled out a bunch of stuff Tuesday night and added it before I left for the Foxhole Wednesday.
They're like, what is this? And I was like, I'm really not sure what that is.
I'm actually seeing this for the first time.
Yeah. Which is fun. I don't know. I thought it was incredible to see the way people interacted. And I also thought at the Foxhole, so that just for those of you listening that aren't familiar, the Foxhole was originally the Mossy Oak Properties National Sales Meeting. Basically, it was they call it the Land Summit, and they brought all their agents from all over the country in to West Point, and they had meetings for 2 days, and then on the third day, that Thursday, they had a big golf scramble, and they did skeet shooting and a bunch of stuff competitively as a fundraiser for a couple different charities, and they had a dinner that night. Well, they outgrew it so quickly that they started doing their national sales meeting at a different time of the year and just basically invited, the public, guests, whoever their friends. And so it's sort of like our golf scramble. They do the exact same thing. It's just, a lot bigger and a huge venue. And so it's just all the proceeds go to, I think it was St. Jude and maybe Catch a Dream or something along those lines. A couple different
they had a few
charities.
Ones.
They raised a bunch. Every year they raise $100 and something thousand.
It's a big event.
It's huge. But that was a long introduction way of saying that everybody that was there Thursday night at the Foxhole, they were friends, people that have known us for forever.
Right.
And I loved hearing people, particularly like Ed Wall and Brooks Tinsley, people that have known us for a long time. They were blown away by your story and the details of your story that they didn't know.
Yeah, a lot of people had no idea.
Yeah, Ed Walls said he had no clue that you'd won it 3 times. He thought you just won it once.
Yeah. And Brooks, you know, he knows us as well as anybody does. He had no idea that you'd competed in Main Street.
Yeah.
And so he was like Friday morning or Thursday morning playing golf. He was or at the golf course. He said, I get it now. He said, I understand why that's your man. He said, there's a lot of people that, you know, that have competed, you know, and would be a good fit. But he said, that's about the only guy that you could come up with that's competed in both. And I was like, yeah, that was definitely on the table. That was part of it.
Yeah.
But anyways, that for me, I know there's lots of parts of this, Drake, for you that have been satisfying and personally very fulfilling. But for me, that was very encouraging, you know, to see people that were friends of our brand for a long time, knew all about us, and then they see parts of the story that they didn't even know existed. And
yeah, our boy Gert killed it with that little film he put together.
Really did. Like a coming of age video for Gert. I mean, he did an excellent job.
Rob had the best explanation for it. He told me pressure makes diamonds.
Rob's text was great because he sent me one that I thought was pretty humorous, because there was a point in time which Rob worked here that he really was not very swift at the editing, and it was, you had to make him do it. He could do it, but he would procrastinate, and finally, I pulled him aside at one point. I was like, look, you have to get this done. You got to prioritize it. And he said, so after the video came out, he texted me and he goes, gosh dang it, you've pressured another one into figuring out how to edit.
Got him.
It's not that I did anything. It's just that we needed. That's what we needed, and Girk really rose to the occasion.
Yeah, he did.
He laid the groundwork for that several months ago and worked a plan, and you know, like a lot of things, like the turkey pot calls for the stamp pot calls, for example, really cool for me personally to see everybody take little pieces of this and run with it. And you know, we accomplished more this weekend than what any one of us could accomplish by ourselves, by, you know, having a great team on board. And I don't know, that's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
What was special for me too, always being around, I'm gonna say Spence's friends and the brand's friends, but being around these guys who, you know, we've looked up to for a long time, or that run successful businesses, people that, you know, you just admire. And for them to come up to us personally and not only know our names, but just say, you know, y'all are doing a great job. We're excited for y'all. Like, they notice that what we're doing, and that feels really good and drives me more to want to continue to do better. You know, when somebody tells you they appreciate you or they notice what you're doing, that always motivates you.
Makes you feel good.
For sure.
Keeps that fire going.
What was your favorite part of the weekend?
Oh, wow. There was a lot. I mean,
there's so much that went on. Obviously, you know, creating a duck call and having tons of great feedback from everybody who bought it, you know, that's awesome. I don't know. I think I was more nervous running that contest than I was selling duck calls for the most part.
I bet you were.
So, I mean, I was pretty pumped to help put on a pretty nice, well-ran contest for the first time and get a tons of great feedback from judges and from callers, and that were happy with the judges and things like that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. It would be hard for me not to pick, you know, the 2-man, just because it was the first of its kind of a cut down, and it was the vibes in the bullpen were through the tent of that, you know, through the roof of that tent. Everybody was standing up, talking to each other. Nobody was sitting in their little corner being weird. Everybody
Dallas was standing on a chair doing the stanky leg.
I mean, it was almost a party in there, you know, and everybody was so excited and wanted everybody to do good and sound good and rooting each other on. So probably the 2-man for me. You know, it was fun.
Mine may be kind of odd, but there was a point throughout the weekend that I kind of just needed to have a little alone time. So I actually left and had dinner and just kind of sat and steel after Saturday, but I had full intentions on coming back. And I guess between the point of me going to eat and, finding some peace and coming back gave everybody else enough time to really get tuned up and I come through the door. And it was a full blown party.
You didn't even come through the door.
Yeah,
I was met
with
us.
Yeah, and it was fun to see that even though after all this hard work and long weekend and people drove long hours and they stayed here Saturday and we just hung out and had a good time together till I don't even know how long.
Till Spence kicked them out.
Yeah, till Spence
I kicked them out at midnight Saturday night.
I had a guy come and ask me to ream a barrel at midnight.
I reamed a barrel Saturday night and tuned a call.
Oh God!
Saturday, that was going to be my favorite. I enjoyed. Everything about the weekend was great. When you, as a business owner, when you make a decision, or a business leader, I should say, when you make a decision to go a course, to see it kind of come to fruition, it feels really good. And, I did best homework I could possibly do. I called everybody that you'd ever worked for that I could get to give me an honest opinion. And I got pretty solid reviews all around.
Yeah.
But I had a couple that were like, no, he won't be very good at that job. And I was like, no, you're wrong about that. I just had a good feeling about it. And so to kind of see all that come together and, you've blossomed and grown and changed in a year and a half. And, as we all have, but to kind of see all that come together, see everybody fill gaps. There were a dozen things that happened Saturday morning between 8:15 and 9:20 that our team just sort of filled in places. Jason had the brilliant idea, let's only let 10 in at a time. Great idea. I had this magic moment tuned up on the Spotify list, and I was going to let the whole place in, and it would have been an absolute train wreck.
Yeah.
Because we were trying to do multiple cash registers. It was just, that was perfect.
Yep.
Well, you guys, for all you had 14 lines going off the front porch, and was having trouble counting past 21, and the two of y'all just kind of filled in. We're like, no, let's do it this way, blah, blah, blah. And, just little elements like that all throughout the day to see the team, everybody kind of took place. And, it was very satisfying. And then, so I guess that was a really long rambling way of saying that my favorite part was Saturday night too, because Saturday night it was like everybody just chilled. Contests were over. People hung out here.
Watched football.
Yeah. A bunch of people watched football games. Your family hung out for a while, and then y'all were like, hey, let's go watch the Arkansas game at the house. And so y'all hung out. And then while we were sitting on the front porch, there were 3 different groups of people that were just local friends of mine who had not come on Friday night or Saturday, saw us as they're driving by, and there's 4 collections of people sitting outside and a bunch inside. They just pulled up chairs.
Heck yeah.
Hilarious.
That was not organized, and but it really kind of solidified how cool this place is. Mm-hmm. People want to be here and they want to hang out here, and that's why we built it the way we did.
Right.
And anyway, so that
I had a point to it, and it was earlier in the week when we were getting ready to start everything. It was Tuesday night when the I Am Drake Levy film dropped, and it kind of choked me up for a little bit. Not only because just to see your story and how it was portrayed, and it was awesome, but to really just sit back and think about the last year and seeing some of those clips, and it's how far we've came and in a year. That's not a long time, and how our friendship's grown throughout the whole business, and how close we've all come. And it I don't know, it's special what we have going on here, and I'm just really grateful for it, and grateful for everybody who supports us and allows us to continue to do cool stuff and host events like this.
Yep.
No doubt.
This morning was another one of those moments, watching the rest of those Levy.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, this morning.
Oh yeah, today happened.
Wow. Holy cow! I hope we're not having to pay per minute for phone calls that have come into this place.
Oh my gosh!
Jeez,
poor
Louise.
Tripp couldn't even enjoy it for a little bit because it was 4 back to back to back to back. Yep, we're out. Yep, I'm sorry, we're out.
Been answering the phone.
Yeah. Then he got tired of it. Says, "Why don't you talk to the man himself?"
I was about to change my name to be this is Cody.
So
this is Lake Davy.
The backstory on this is we're all sitting at the front watching the part of the Shopify store lets you see how many people are on the website. And the whole time, so we've made it go every time we've done a product launch, we put it up on the screen and just kind of watch and see. And people log in from all over the world, and you can see where their IP address is pinging, and we're sitting there and the phone keeps ringing and Tripp's walking back and forth to the telephone, people are like, I can't figure out the password to my account. I can't figure out what, they're just asking questions. And finally Tripp's like, I tell you what, I'll let you talk to the man himself. Drake. Thought, oh Lord, Tripp, Drake's going to kill you.
A little tip though, for those little quick online sales like that, got to have your Apple Pay set up. That's the fastest way. I seen somebody commented on all things cut down.
Well, it was impressive. 47 people. 47 people had their Apple Pay dialed in. 37 seconds, it was gone.
That's wild.
All it is is double click, bam, bam, double click, read your face, and you paid for coming to you.
So speaking of that, you want to kind of roll out the news coming later this week?
Yeah, I guess so. So basically, what we got, we've been overwhelmed with the awesome support we've gotten to this duck call, and we're definitely want to get more out there to y'all. So we're going to start a little list, ain't we?
Yeah. So we're going to do a pre-order campaign.
That's right. Yeah.
I think is the technical term for the in the world of e-commerce. What do we know?
Yeah.
We're just good at polishing pieces of plastic and make them sound like ducks. So we're going to launch it. We had this batch, like this second batch, in the works already.
Right.
But we were going to wait until later in October. And I think just given this morning at launch, there were 698 at the peak, different people on the website at the same time. I haven't looked now. It's several thousand since then. Yeah. But at one time, there were 698 people on the website at 9:01.
That's crazy.
And so we're gonna publish a pre-order campaign on I think Friday morning. We'll send out an informational email on Thursday, and then we'll make it live on Friday. And I think what do we come up with material wise, like right at 500?
Yeah, I think we're going to do 200 bourbon and black inserts, and 300 all black, flat black.
Okay,
murdered out, what you will.
Yep. And best I can tell, we should be able to ship those around November the 1st.
Right.
It's kind of what we've got figured out. And, the one thing I would say just to those of you that are listening is that one of the things that sets us apart from all of our competition, I think, or at least most of them, is we don't just pick up the telephone and call and order these and then mark them up and put them in a box and sell them to y'all. Like when we say we're going to build a batch of 500, we've got to get on the phone with the factory that makes the rods, make sure they've got them, which, by the way, in this case, they didn't have the right black. So we had to get a different size black and machine it down. I mean, so it really, like when we say we're going to make 500 calls, we're making them. Yep. I mean, that's, how many trash bags of acrylic, the ribbon, which is like the, not sawdust, but the
equivalent to.
That's a lot of it.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a
I see
dumpster
Mark at least load. Mark and Kobe going out at least 2 to 3 times a day.
Rolling it out because it's so heavy they can't carry
it's not like anybody's being lazy and we're just kind of waiting around to make more calls. We're going as fast as we can.
Every machine's running 12 hours a day. Tumblers are running.
And that's the part that you were talking about earlier, is how much it's changed in a year. And then this time last year, the machines, we had 2 machines, not 3. Right. Yes, they were running. They were not running 12 hours a day. And right now, like for the last couple of months, we've been running those machines wide open. Mark gets here at 5:30. He's off and running by 6. Kobe stays till at least 6. They're running 12 hours nonstop bar feeders. I mean, it's just crazy. And then, we're doing that 5 days a week. Right now, the only way for us to increase capacity is to add another machine, which makes me want to puke. Not really, but it does scare the crap out of it, because you think any day somebody's going to stop behind duck calls. But so we could add a machine, or we could run a night shift, or we could run through the weekend. Like, there's just only so much we can do. And so when we set out about, the first batch, second batch, we really figured we needed a few weeks in there to get that second batch ready and do the work. Because, I mean, it takes 5-6 people a minute to get all them calls done.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
500 is a lot.
A lot.
I thought 310 was a lot.
Yeah, you got to tune all of them.
I may show Riley a thing or two. I may have him help me out on these.
Oh, Lord. We need to come up with a calculation for how many dips and Zen pouches per, like 100 calls is how many sacks of acrylic ribbon, how many sacks of, how many spit cups worth. There needs to be we need some ratios here.
Yeah. I think for me, about 60 to 75 calls is about a can of dip. So,
yeah, I couldn't tell you the math on it. I do know whenever I was up here with Dutch and Gert, Dutch was doing something with the gun counter stuff, and I know I was probably being a pain in the ass, but I was on him about keeping that coffee going. I done drank one pot of coffee, and I went to go refill it or whatever, and he had the thing turned off. I'm like, oh no, Dutch.
Dutch, this is not the way this works.
No.
We ran through coffee.
Yeah.
The morning of the call release, we ran through coffee. There was some coffee drinking son of a guns on
No
that
doubt about it.
Yeah.
That was so funny. I saw Boozer and Spence. Me and you are still trying to form the line, and here comes Boozer and Spence walking out with cups of coffee for everybody.
Boozer had a sleeve and one pot. I had 2 full pots.
Yep.
And that was the 8th, 9th, and 10th pot because we had gone through 3 pots twice before that.
I know.
Riles
I made
was carrying
probably
them back
3 or
out
4
there
myself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it was funny. A bunch of those guys were like, "Oh, we've already had a bunch of coffee." That. I was like, "Yeah, keep drinking coffee. That's how you live."
Coffee's always free here.
No doubt.
Yeah. I drank coffee till about 10 o'clock, and then Dalton forced a beer down my throat. I was like, all right. I have a little celebratory, one little 16 ouncer.
This place is a lot like duck camp. Nobody's keeping exact track of when you crack your first beer around here.
I'm trying to remember. Somebody came up to me and said, is it politically correct to crack a beer? And it's like 9:15. I looked around.
And that was not the first person.
Yeah, well,
I know who the first person was.
I saw
somebody.
somebody
They did not ask.
Yeah. I said, well, that guy's got one.
I can guarantee it was Boozer you were referencing, and he was drinking a natural light at 9:02.
Yeah,
He was just worried somebody was going to blow a duck call inside, and he was going to have to listen to it.
I come back in from the first contest, and I walk behind the deal. I get a water, and I was looking at the deal. I was like, Boozer, is that natural light? He said, absolutely. I said, you say you want one? Yeah, I'll definitely take one. I go walk outside, and I think my dad's buddy said, what's in your hand? And I showed him. I said, natural light. He said, oh, no.
Well, it was awesome. And, I would just say this kind of vibes, this kind of momentum, I don't know how it leaves y'all feeling, but it energizes me and makes me want to keep pushing the needle, keep the pedal down. And I think based on what we have coming over the next couple months that we know about and the world doesn't know about, I think there's a lot of exciting things. So
can't really say too much, but yeah,
I think it would be well worth people's time to attend the Shin Gear Festival. October the 21st for sure.
Yeah, that's going to be a good time.
I also think it would be well worth people's while to make plans now to attend the NWTF convention in February.
All 3 days.
Yeah, all 3 days. Yes.
That's going to be fun.
That is going to be a lot of fun. And, this should be a fun duck season. That did kind of occur to me yesterday. I was chilling. I was like, man, it's about to be duck season.
Yep.
Lindy asked me when we were leaving for Canada. I was like,
next week.
Holy crap.
Yeah. Have you unpacked and repacked for Canada, or how are you right now? You're just getting
unpacked
back.
and repacked for Canada. The last time I fully unpacked from Canada was like 2013. I partially unpacked my bags from when we went with Thomas last weekend. But no, the trailer is about 80% packed. Weekend before last, I spent a whole Sunday afternoon.
You did a really good job on the trailer and other decoys in the barn. I saw that.
Yeah, I got all that pretty well organized because I knew that if I didn't before this past weekend, that it would be eating me alive.
I guess people's got a bunch of new duck calls of ours to blow in the woods this year, and it is duck season. You just got back from Canada. We got good reports thinking for this season, or
you can get Thomas's thoughts exactly on today's Shin Gear post.
That's correct.
And he said exactly what I observed, and he's been up there a lot longer, but I observed more ducks in 3 days than I saw at any point in Canada last year between our October trip and our November trip. I think duck numbers are very strong.
Roll Tide.
Yeah. I would say they were very, very strong. And I don't want to jinx it, but I've got pretty high hopes for our trip here in another week or so. Because Thomas is in a fantastic area, but he doesn't have kind of the wide swath of waterfowl that we see in the area we go to. And if you kind of charted where everything likes to hang out in Canada, you've got areas that's like predominantly ducks, you've got areas that's predominantly honkers, and you've got areas that are all of them, and we like to go to an area that's a lot more all of them than like Thomas's area tends to be honkers and ducks. And he's fortunate that he doesn't have to deal with a whole bunch of snow geese and a whole bunch of cranes and everything else. But then on the other hand, we're fortunate because we've had a few belly flops turn into pretty serious pass shooting of cranes. Cranes, exactly. And same for snow geese. Like we've had some duck hunts flop, and then a bunch of juvies fly, and so you just never know what you're going to get. But I think that duck numbers look really good, and I know y'all are hearing the same reports I'm hearing, but we got a lot of buddies in a lot of places up there on the ground, and it's 2 thumbs up from everybody. I've not heard any negatives, which is great.
A little drier in places. In some spots, you're going to get that, just like it was last year.
Yep.
But it should be a good little go.
Should be.
For the A-team. When we going to point that truck north, Tripp?
As soon as we're allowed now. In about an hour?
No, I can't do that. I got to go this weekend. Man, good Lord, got to do something for our anniversary since we ain't going to be here for it.
But no, I figured we were probably going to leave out the night of the 3rd, early wee hours of the 4th, something like that. Yes, please.
This is the first time Spence is here, and he's like, oh.
This is on the company calendar. You're not adding a day and a half to it. I'm
just ready to get up there.
Nice try. That's like asking your mom and dad permission for something while grandma and grandpa are sitting at the table. Exactly. It's like, I know you're not going to backhand me. You might say no, but you're not going to kill me.
I figured we'd get up there and have it scouted out. Yeah. So when you get back from the airport, you're ready to. Ow.
No. I booked a first class ticket from Nashville up there one way, so I'm going to beat y'all there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Jeez. Yeah. I'm going to have it scouted out for y'all.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Well, I know what happened when I started scouting last year versus when you started scouting.
So I put us on some pretty stellar hunts last year.
You did, but it took you a few days to get your feet underneath you, I want to come out of the gate firing.
Yeah. Heck.
We can talk about it. Yeah. Offline.
I'm ready to get up there. I'm excited.
Yeah, it should be a good trip. We got a little smaller group going this year. A couple of good buds that are going to miss out. We're going to be sad about.
But we are going to go see Charlie and hunt with some other people up there.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, got a pretty cool, some more cool stuff coming down the pipe.
Yeah. We have non-disclosure agreements in place to prevent any teasing of that, but there's some big things coming, and future's bright.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's safe to say same time next year on the competition at the shop.
I would say that we're going to we're going to have an event about the time of our anniversary every year. Cannot promise that we're going to launch a new duck call every year at that event. That's asking a lot, but I think for sure we'll have a calling contest. One, because it's great for our sport, but two, it's also a time of year when everybody's thinking about it. There's not a bunch of other contests. It's after trade shows, and so it's kind of, it fits. And then three, I would say we're going to do it in conjunction with the Foxhole again, just because we have so many friends that come to the Foxhole and then want to come up here, and so
it's good to see everybody all in 1 week like that.
Oh yeah. So I would say roughly third weekend in September, something like that would be my guess.
Mark it down. Pencil it in so you can erase it if we swap it around.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
Depends on somebody's getting married or not.
Nobody in this room is allowed to get married during the last 2 weeks of September next year. So, I mean, you can get married June, July, and August, or possibly February, but
No.
You're either trout fishing or going to NWTF.
If you'd like to get married in February, you can, but you're not getting a honeymoon.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so mark your calendars for that. Make sure you're here.
yeah,
Willing
no
and
kidding.
able.
Absolutely.
No kidding. Oh man, I can't make it. You can't or you don't want to. Those are two different things. I can respect somebody that says they don't want to or can't prioritize it. Like, I get that. I totally get that. But if you drive 1,000 miles to shoot a limit of ducks, can't means, let's be honest. You know?
Yeah.
You do what you want to do.
That's right. My dad used to tell me can't never could do anything.
That's right. That's a good one. Well, that's about all I've got. It's time for a nap.
Beat.
Some country over there across the big blue sea over there, they take like a nap between 1 and 2 every day. But
I think that's Mexico. It's called a siesta.
We're just not in the market to do that right now, but maybe we will be one day.
Across the big blue sea.
I could.
Okay,
Across the imaginary fence.
Christopher Columbus. Some country over there takes a nap every day.
Ooh-wee.
You can go up to Fayette Academy and take a nap with Lindy's preschool students if you need
Roll
to.
yellow mat.
Hey, Miss Lindy.
Yeah.
It's been a rough day.
Spence said my attitude needs adjusted. Man, take a nap with the kiddos. They would love that. All right, well, that was a rambling mess, but we're grateful for everybody's support.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank y'all for coming out and buying a call, blowing on the contest, shaking hands, talking. I mean, just all around good fun.
Yep.
Thank y'all for the support and letting us have this fun.
That's right.
Yep. It looks like outside by the dumpsters, all the trash bags, looks like everybody had a blast. So
Yeah.
If anybody's into collecting and recycling aluminum cans, this would be a real good time to go through our dumpster. By my count, there were 43 cases. There were 44 cases of beer. Big aluminum cans, too, 16-ounces.
Yep.
Say she's definitely more than a duck call.
No doubt. No doubt. No doubt. I thought that was really cool, though, when it was Chris Spencer who said that. And we were talking about who was going to get number 1 and who was going to get number 2, because he and Gregory got here like at the same time. And there was a whole brouhaha about that, and they were both very mature about it. But Chris was the one who was like, "This is more than just a duck call." I was like, "You know what? You're right. Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right about this." And for all of us, it's that way. You know, yeah. I mean, the duck call is just the object that illustrates our passion, and our obsession. But that's what makes it bigger than just a duck call. Mm-hmm. Yep. So, anyways. Any other parting thoughts?
I'm waiting to hear Tripp close this thing out, see if he does as good as Frawley.
Oh, yeah? You got this? You got the...
Yeah, I'll give it a run. Well, thank y'all again for an awesome, awesome weekend. Thanks for all the support. Thank y'all for listening to the podcast. We'll catch you on the next one.
All right.
Good job.
Bow. Bye. Hey, y'all, this is Spence and Frawley, and just wanted to say thank you for listening to another episode of our podcast. We really, really enjoy producing this podcast and would be really grateful if wherever you get your podcasts, if you would subscribe to the Rolling Thunder podcast and give us a 5-star rating. Somehow, apparently, out there in internet la media land, that helps our podcast to be found by other people like you. So we just want you to know we appreciate you listening, and we'd like to ask you to subscribe and give us a 5-star review and keep on listening.
And unfortunately, recording podcasts don't pay the bills, so we just do this for fun and for y'all, and we want it to grow as bad as y'all want it to grow. So we could really use your help in doing that.
Share it with a friend.
Yes, right. We appreciate y'all stopping by again.
Thanks for listening.